Please tell me your full name, who you are, and what you do.
My name is Matthew Niederhauser. I'm a co-founder of the experiential studio Sensorium. I come originally from an anthropology and photojournalistic background, and then sort of moved through a bunch of different mediums, including documentary, installation, and then found my way to virtual reality through projects I was doing at the MIT Media Lab while based out of the incubator attached to the new museum called New Ink. And we eventually just got bit by the VR bug very hard. And we've been producing and directing VR experiences for about 3 years now.
So tell me a little bit about this project that you've brought to Sundance. What is it? How were you involved? What's it called?
Zikr, a Sufi Revival, is the project that we brought to Sundance this year. And it started first with a trip that we were doing with Gabo Aurora to Tunisia to do trainings with people involved with the United Nations Special Mission to Libya. And while we were there, we were introduced to this amazing Sufi troupe, and we were just totally blown away. It was like sort of nothing we'd ever seen in terms of performance, and also Tunis itself was super unique in terms of it being an Islamic nation. And based off of sort of that one experience, we basically made a decision that we've got to go back, and we, along with John Fitzgerald, sort of co-created this piece that was trying to bring interactivity to a documentary format, and finding a way to marry 360 video and these volumetric interviews in a sort of way that allowed people to also interact with each other and not just the experience itself. So it was a pretty bold experiment, and we think that it worked out extremely well, and had a great run at Sundance with it.
So which headsets was this viewed on? And if you're saying people interacted with each other, how was that done exactly? So if we're trying to explain it to an audience that's never tried virtual reality before, they came to Sundance, what would the experience be?
So the experience for somebody at Sundance was that you had this little antechamber in which you prepared yourself for the rituals. You took off your shoes, took off your jacket, and you came in, and we had these really special rugs brought in from Tunisia, and you almost arranged yourself for people in like a diamond-like pattern, in a ritualistic circle, if you will. And we also worked very closely with the interactive development firm called Superbright, and they helped us come up with this amazing way of you having these beads that you would sort of be able to move during the interviews and during the rituals, so that you could see each other and see how each person was reacting to the music and the dance, and you wouldn't like be going up and giving each other's high fives or anything, but it was a way to participate in the ritual in a way that gave you a better understanding of it. Sufi rituals are experiential, and in order, from a documentary sense, to get a better idea of what it would be like to be there and participate, having ways of interacting actually brought you closer to the subject.
So for which headsets was this on? Were the beads somehow connected to some touch controllers or some Vive controllers, and that's how the other, I guess, the things that were in the documentary interacted with you? Is that how I imagine it?
Yeah, so inside the experience, we were using Vive controllers and Vive headsets. We utilized the Unity sort of networking backend within the experience, so that all 4 headsets were essentially under 2 lighthouses, and the controllers represented your hands, and those were sort of as these transparent type avatar figures, because at times when you had all 4 of you were inside of a equirectangular sphere inside of this 360 video, and we positioned all the people in the rituals to be focusing in on the inside to you as a group or even as an individual person. So you wanted to be able to see through the other people a little bit so you could see the other performers around you. And it was probably the biggest question as to what is this actually going to be like once we started doing the build, and it worked out extremely well. So you are these translucent avatars, and the more you move, the more the environment also reacts to you or your beads, and everybody was dancing inside of it. It was a really amazing reaction. It was great to do it at Sundance, and we're also trying to think of ways we can turn it into so that people can do it at home and have like it's sort of weird to say like a lobby for Sufi rituals, but have a lobby where you can come in, you can find other people from around the world, participate together, and we're also thinking of other iterations of the project as well.
Right. Is there a story involved? Because, I mean, it becomes a little bit tricky, the line between filmmaking, documentary, and interactive storytelling. That line, I feel, is a little bit blurred when it comes to this project. Is there a story that goes into it? Do you become part of the tribe? Is this ritual part of that? How is the music and you being there part of a documentary factual story? Yeah,
there is a storyline through Zikr, Sufi Revival, and it's about Tunis and about the impact of these rituals on the people's lives. So in between the rituals, we have this amazing transition where the 360 videos become particleized and then turn into depth kit assets. So we were working very closely with depth kit as well to do the volumetric capture, because it was the only way to get on an airplane and fly to Tunis and be able to take a camera with us so that we could get 3D capture. They would be talking about the impact of the music on their own lives, trying to show that they were different from, constant media representations of Islam as a radical religion. These people are very open-minded and tolerant and welcoming, and it's a representation of the religion that I think is not often found.
What was the feedback at Sundance? You mentioned that you're doing a little clip kind of showcasing how people were dancing, but were there people coming out crying? What was the general feedback that you got from people who experienced it?
It was great, and we got a ton of great press, and we also inked a really amazing deal with Dogwoof to help us go after larger distribution, and it was super positive. I wouldn't say people were coming out in tears, but they were coming out laughing and smiling. It was, I think, like a beautiful and joyous sort of experience. And especially, the joy of being there with other people and participating together. I think it was also, we sort of uncovered a new leaf in the VR documentary realm. Premiering at Sundance is also a little bit of an experiment. It was the first time we were having a ton of people going through it, and there's like some little tweaks we want to do. We might not use controllers. We might use sort of the trackers on the hands. You're not gripping something, and we could probably integrate a sub pack if we wanted, and there's some other stuff we'd like to do with it still moving forward, as we're looking towards museums and installations.
Dogwoof is massive distributors for documentary. Do you think that the reason for the success of your virtual reality documentary has to do with the fact that this is social VR?
I think that's a huge linchpin for sure. Having that dimension of an extra person or more people in there really sort of grounds you in a completely new realm of experience and makes you want to interact with the space more than when you're by yourself. We're working with Dogwoof to basically pursue any possibility. It's only been a few weeks, and so we're in the midst of reaching out and also thinking about creating this online network version, and we're taking a little bit of a breath, but I think we're hopefully going to be coming up with some good news in the weeks to come.
Is there a website that we can go to specifically for your production house and see what you guys are doing for the future in virtual reality?
Yeah, you can find Sensorium at sensorium.works, and that's sensorium.works. And right now, Zikr is currently appears on Facebook, is our home for sharing all the information as it comes out, and it's facebook.com/Zikr Sufi Love, and that's ZIKR SUFI Love. And that's where we're posting everything and trying to get people excited about sharing the news about the experience, and hopefully we'll be announcing some new places where it will be installed soon.